Yemen is an LEDC located in southern Middle East, near to Saudi Arabia and Ethiopia. Its main religion is Islam, with 54% of the population being Sunni and the other 46% being Shia. Yemen is currently the poorest country in the Middle East. Half of the population lives under the poverty line, and two-thirds of the youth are unemployed. Social services are collapsing. The literacy rate is 64% amongst adults, and the life expectancy is just around 63 years. Yemen bases its economy mostly on oil export, with it being 63% of its economy based on that. Its GDP per capita has dramatically dropped in 2017, with it being just 6,789 US dollars. Its GDP in total, it's around 54.8 billion. Yemen has been plagued by years of instability, poor governance, underdevelopment, environmental decline, and widespread poverty. Yemen has been in a critical political situation since 2011, and it is one of the most tragic failed states in the world, and it's currently run by a provisional government. It has one of the biggest index of human rights violations in the world, and it's suffering from a major humanitarian crisis, with 60% of its population being malnourished, with that including 460,000 under the age of 5. Between March of 2015 and March of 2017, 4,773 civilians have been killed and more than 8,272 more have been injured. In total, more than 7,600 civilian casualties have been reported, and more than 42,000 have been reported to be injured, and that's only in conflict. Thousands more have died due to malnourishment or to disease. Out of its 27 million inhabitants, 2 million are internally displaced. 14.4 million are without access to drinking water or sanitation. The spread of cholera in the country has been one of the largest in history, with almost 1 million cases are expected to be reported by the end of 2017. As of October 2016, 274 health facilities have been damaged or destroyed in conflict. 7 million people consider food to be insecure in the country. 180,000 people have fled the country. 80 million, or 69% of its population, are in need of some kind of humanitarian assistance. The World Food Programme have declared 7 out of Yemen's 22 provinces in an emergency level on a food perspective. A lack of fuel mixed with insecurity and damage to the roads and markets have prevented supplies from being distributed. The UN declared the humanitarian crisis as impactful, as thousands of citizens are on the verge of famine. Reports of arbitrary detention, torture, human trafficking, and enforced disappearances have been placed all over the country. All of these actions are considered violations against human rights, yet no one is being held responsible. The current conflict is being fought between President Abdrabbu Mansour Hadi's government and the Houthi rebel government, whom are loyal to the former president of the country. The conflict began by a political transition that was supposed to bring stability to Yemen in 2011. The former president of the country was handing over its presidency to Mansour Hadi. The Houthi movement supported the Shia Muslim minority in the country and had fought a series of rebellions against Mr. Ali Abdullah Saleh, the former president. Unhappy with the change of power and taking advantage of the change of presidency, they took the streets of Sana'a, the capital of the country, being supported by the disappointed Shias. The president was forced to flee the country. In 2015, alarmed by the rise of the Houthis, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and 8 other Sunni Arab states began airstriking the Houthis in hopes of restoring the Hadi government. The coalition received logistical and intelligence support from the US, UK, and France. Since then, the country has been divided by half, with each of the parties controlling their respective area. The eastern area is controlled by the Hadi government, and the western area of the country, including the capital Sana'a, is being controlled by the Houthi and pro-Saleh forces. After 2 years of fighting, no side seems to be able to gain military advantage of the other. The government has since been able to push the rebels south, and the president has then returned to the country. As of 2016, peace talks organized by the United Nations seem promising, with both of the Houthis and the government finding local ground. But the peace talks collapsed after just 3 months, triggering an escalation in the fighting. Yemen is a prime example of a failed state, and efforts to stop the human rights violations and to aid the humanitarian crisis have not been enough by either internal or external entities.